My name is Caitlin. I'm 35 years old. I'm from Phoenix, Arizona.
What are 3 words that best describe who you are?
Friendly, I think friendly. Sarcastic. And outgoing. Oh, no, I wouldn't say outgoing. Determined. I would say determined. Yeah.
Talk to me about some hobbies and activities that you enjoy.
I enjoy food. I'm a big foodie. Traveling. Those two together are just like, it's like my dream. Any food tour while I'm traveling is my fave. I'm a dog mom. So my dogs are my babies. Other than that, I just recently got into yoga. That's been really helpful. And then reading. I love reading.
Talk to me about life before cancer.
It seems so long ago, but I was single. I had just recently been out of a relationship long term, and so I was kind of finding myself again. And I'll get emotional talking about this. I felt like I was finding who I was as a person, and I had stopped asking. I'd stopped walking into a room and wondering if everyone liked me, and instead wondering if I liked me. And I was feeling really good in my career and my friends, and I don't know, I think you get to your early 30s and life makes sense. It starts to make sense. And then, yeah, I just felt really good and really happy, and it was good. I discovered my cancer. I'd come home from the gym and I was in the shower, and right where your sports bra hits, I was washing, and I felt a walnut-sized lump, and something in my gut was like, this is not good. And so I kind of got out of the shower and I kept palpitating it, and I called my mom, and my mom's like, it's probably not, you're 33, you're the healthiest you've ever been, emotionally, physically, everything. It's probably nothing. It's probably a cyst. It's very common. We don't have anything in our family. And something in my gut was just like, that's not true. This is something different. So I called my doctor, and she had said, you just had a breast exam in August of last year. Nothing's noted. It's February. I think you need to wait a month and see. And I said, no, I think I need to be seen. And she's like, okay, come in. It's probably an infection. I went in on I think it was a Tuesday. She felt it. She agreed that she wanted a mammogram and an ultrasound. She did my blood work at that point for BRCA. And then I called to have my mammogram. So that week I had a mammogram. I had never had a mammogram, so the tech did it, and she was really talkative until she got a certain angle, and then she stopped talking to me. And I was like, okay, I'm pretty sure I know what this means. And so they sat me in a room, and they said, we're gonna do your ultrasound. And the ultrasound tech came in, and of course you're laying there and you can see them, they're doing it. And so I was watching her face, and everything about her micro expressions, I knew what was coming. And so she said, just wait here. The radiologist is going to call you. And so the radiologist called and said, you have to have a biopsy on the BI-RADS scale. This is the highest. And I said, what does that mean? And she said, well, it means that it's cancer. And I said, well, then why do I have to have a biopsy? And she's like, because it's not for sure. So that Friday, I had a biopsy. And then the following Tuesday, the nurse practitioner from my doctor's office called, and she's very clinical. And I was working on my computer from home, and she called and she said, your biopsy came back and you have cancer. And I was like, breast cancer? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, okay. And I didn't know anything about it, right? And so I said, okay. And she goes, so you'll probably need to find an oncologist. And I was like, okay. And she's like, do you have any other questions? And it's like, do people not have questions at this juncture in the conversation? So I said, I don't know. I don't know what to ask. And she's like, okay, well, yeah, find an oncologist and have a good day. And I remember just hanging up and setting my cell phone down and then going back to work. And I worked for like an hour, and then I was like, it just felt like a dream, right? And I was like, I guess I should call my mom at this point. And so I did. And my mom's in the medical field, so I got into one of the best oncologists in my state. And then I saw him on the following Thursday. So in less than 2 weeks, I went from a life that felt really perfect to having a port put in and having a chemo. And at that time, they had rushed scans. They had rushed everything because I had just had a breast exam. And so they said, whatever this is, it's really aggressive because it was like a walnut size. And so I'd had a PET scan, started treatment, and then between my first and second cycle, my oncologist called and said, we found on your PET scan, you have a spot on your sternum. And I was like, okay. And at that point, I'd already gone down the rabbit hole of what that would mean. And in my mind, I kept telling myself, you are so lucky that it's only stage 2. Like, thank God it's not stage 4. And then it was very much stage 4. And those 3 weeks just felt like the hits kept coming, right? Like, it was everything about what I thought my life would be. It was just one thing after another. And the person I was 3 weeks later, my hair was falling out. I was so sick. And it was those first few months. It was hard because you remember the old you as you're lying on the bathroom floor, thinking that not only are you miserable now, but you are not going to live very long. And everything about the life you imagined is gone. And it doesn't feel like it will ever come back at that point. And that was the start of it. And that was, I think, that was the hardest part was, in the span of 3 weeks, I don't think you ever think the rug's gonna get pulled out like that. That was hard. But that was the diagnosis. That was the first month. My life has changed. I think now that I'm 2 years out, I feel like I can say in some ways for the better. I am not grateful for cancer. I just said the other day, I don't feel like I learned anything from cancer that I wouldn't have learned in life already. I just learned it faster and way more aggressively. But I feel like over the past 2 years, I've gotten to a point where I can find myself again, and cancer's not everything about me. That was what active treatment felt like. Was the most interesting thing about me was cancer, and the only thing that dominated my life was cancer. And now, 2 years out, I'm starting to almost be brave enough to feel like that's just one part of my life. It's not the most interesting thing about me, and it's not going to dominate my life anymore. As much as it can't, right? Like, if you're in a chair every 3 weeks, it does take a part of your life, but it won't be the most interesting thing about me, and I don't want it to be. And that's really, I think, what I've taken away from it is I know who I am now. I don't worry so much about silly things, petty things. I'm able to forge really strong friendships, both in the cancer community, outside the cancer community. It's in that way, it's just been, that's the positive I take out of it, is I did come out on the other side. The things that I loved the most about my pre-cancer self were strengthened. They were fortified in that 2 years. And so I do take that away as I'm grateful for that piece, not how I got there, but grateful for that. I wish more of the world knew that metastatic breast cancer exists, and that it's very real, and it is deadly. I think even myself, I knew what stage 4 cancer was, but I didn't know metastatic breast cancer. I didn't know what that meant. I was naively part of the group of people, the majority of people that think breast cancer is cute and pink and curable and you're such a fighter, and then you're done and you're over it and you get to say, I'm a cancer survivor. So I wish the world knew that that's not the case. It's not the case for us that are diagnosed stage 4 off the bat. It's not the case for 1 in 3 women with early stage. And there needs to be more focus on that and awareness so that there is more funding for a cure. There's more awareness that it's not cute, it's never pink, it's awful. My family's really supportive. I was diagnosed 2 weeks really before the world shut down, and so being a single woman, my mom was the one who had to do everything. It was, back when nobody knew what to do. So my mom for sure. I have a really amazing group of friends that are so supportive, forging friendships in the cancer community. It's so good to be able to talk to somebody and have somebody say, I know exactly what you're talking about, whether it be a side effect or an emotion, or that's been great. And then copious amounts of therapy are just, a necessary thing. So I think all of it has to be multifaceted, right? Everybody can give you a different type of support depending on what you need. And so I think that's good to have that. As much as you are lucky enough to and can have a support system of different people that can help you with different things. For me, I love to read the science. I love to know what's going on because that's what gives me hope. And I can imagine a world where this is chronic for everyone. This is even curable eventually. That's what I want to imagine. I can imagine that it is a chronic thing and that nobody else will go through what we went through with having to read that you have an expiration date, not good, and having doctors tell you that. That's the most important thing to me. That's what my dream is, that kind of world.